My name's Peter Molyneux and I'm a designer working on Fable. And this is Rick Martinez, who has been a producer on Fable since the early days, I think, Rick. Since the very, very beginning. And it's been a long, long journey for us, but we're kind of almost here. Right, what we've got here is we're just showing one section of the game, which is called the graveyard section. And this is about towards sort of, would you say, halfway through the game?
Yeah,
pretty much about halfway through the game. Remember that what Fable is all about, it's about playing a role-playing game in a slightly different way. The cool thing about Fable is that when you, as you play the game, the hero will start changing. He will start morphing to reflect what sort of player you are. And I always was obsessed, whenever I played role-playing games, I was always obsessed. I hated being the good guy all the time. I wanted to do sort of mean, nasty things. You know, sometimes when I came back from work, I just felt, you know, bad. I don't want to take it out on the world. So the hero that we've got at the moment is a good guy. But we can look at another hero from someone else's save game where it's the same section of gameplay and it's an evil guy. But at this moment, we're just going through defeating a few baddies. We've got to get through a path. Now, this is the first interesting idea in Fable. The idea that when you create a combat-based RPG game, I really wanted there to be a feel that there were three different modes of combat. There was the things you did with swords, close-up combat, you know, enemies coming towards you, fighting away. That's one method. The next method would be magic. You know, wouldn't it be cool to have lots and lots of different magic you could mix together? You could have lots of different spells going off at the same time. You could specialize in the magic. Now remember, if you do more magic than you do fighting, then your character will look different. If you do more fighting, he'll look stronger. If you do more magic, he'll look a little bit more magical. Then the last way of doing combat is through range combat, bows and arrows and crossbows. And you're able to stealthily pick off targets, you're able to use your skill to even decapitate people, shoot people in different parts of their body. And again, mixing that combat style together is really interesting. Now, here's the cool thing. Many games have allowed you to do that before, but not many games have allowed you to do it just simply with really simple button presses. This is not going backwards and forwards into menus. It's just saying, right, I want to use my bow, I press one button. I want to use my sword, I want to press another one. I want to use one of the 16 different spells to access the magic system that's there. So that's the combat side. That's what you would expect from a role-playing game. But what I'm going to show you now is some of the other cool stuff that you can do in the game. And these are not to do with necessarily killing things, it's just to do with interacting people. Like, this is a different person's save game, so the hero looks really different at this point. He's not so famous, and he's, you know, more or less, you can't say he's particularly good or evil, but he, you know, may be taking on the side a little bit of good. What we're going to do is we're going to go into this town, we're going to play around in this town a bit, see what people think of us, and we're actually going to chat up a girl. Now, this is one of the things you can do in Fable. The idea is you're playing this role-playing game, you know, you're becoming more famous, more like a hero. If you can't at least chat up girls, I mean, Jesus, what's the point? So what we're going to do is show you how you do that, and then we're going to go a little bit crazy and see how the town reacts. So let's just walk up to somebody, and we'll use what we call the expressions, and these are just touching the D-pad on the left allows you to access these different expressions that you're able to use in the game. And some of those expressions are nice things, like they're like smiling at people or waving at people. Some of them are bodily function based, so you are able to break wind, you're able to belch, and some of them are to do with flirting with people. You can flirt with them and you can kiss them, and actually what Rick's doing now is just flirting with this girl, and he's having a really good success rate here. But I'm going to ask him now to break wind because and just see if he. I'm sorry, you know, your chances, Rick, are going out the window here. And she's she's just turned away from that. She's just turned away. She's not so interested anymore. I'm now going to ask you to just be really rude and give her the finger and see what happens and what happens there. She's going to turn away from that, and you get the idea, the sense that. With these expressions, there's lots of these expressions. You're literally, as a player, able to have conversations with people. You're able to get people to react to what you're like. Now, that's one sense of what's happening in the game. What we're going to do now is cheat, and we're going to turn ourselves evil and see how people react if we were an evil player. If we had been playing the game as an evil character, how would people react if we wandered into a town now? This is an absolute cheat. You're not able to do this so easily in the game, but it just gives you an idea. Some people will be truly evil and what happens there. And what you can see is that people will start running away. They'll be scared of you. They'll actually, if you start talking to this girl that I was chatting up before, she's much less likely to hit it off with you. And what that means is that you can sort of play around within that town and play around with what's going on. Because in Fable, eventually you're, unfortunately Rick now accidentally threw a fireball at this poor woman. She's now been toasted. This is what we call a crime within the town, and the town guards, if they saw that, wouldn't be too happy. I think you should just go crazy in the town now, Rick, and you know, the love of your life is going to be lost, I'm afraid. You know, that's the end of it. The reason you want to do this sort of cool stuff is, you know, this is a role-playing game. You're playing the role of a hero. You know, you're earning money for quests. In most of these similar games like this, you can spend that money on swords or armor, and that's just about it. I really wanted there to be a feeling that you could, you know, if you wanted to, you could buy a house. If you really want to, you can shut somebody up. You can get married to them. You can have children. You can own shops. You can, you know, end up owning whole towns. This is part of the immersive world of playing Fable. So to sum up, really, Fable is a combination between a great role-playing game, playing through a story, being the character that you are destined to be. You will get to the end of the Fable, look at your character and think, yeah, I really am a mean son of a bitch, aren't I? Or you'll get to the end of Fable and say, you know, I'm a nice guy. Because with the hero's changing all the time, it's a reflection of your personality. And it's this amazing simulated world that allows you to do incredible cool stuff.
I'll be all right.